Honcast, twitch.tv/Honcast, of course. Anyways, we're to the Honcast Podcast, of course, what is another week here of going to be a great podcast show, I'm sure, and a lot to talk about once again as far as Heroes of Newerth is concerned, specifically on tour, of course, but definitely dabbling into other places in Heroes of Newerth, and going to take a look at those things. So with that said, we're really excited to be here, of course, and looking forward to having a great show. Obviously, I'm Breaking CBK here, going to be one of your four hosts as usual, and speaking of that, got a couple different faces on this time around, as I'm sure you already realize here. So we'll kind of go around table here. We'll start with the one that has been on a couple times recently. We're gonna get Quincy here. How's it going, Quincy?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk some Heroes of Newerth once again.
Does anybody ever ask you that, or they just sit there and like, okay, good. Make sure.
But not enough.
I keep track on Breaky. Yeah.
Not enough. So I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm doing good. But no, it's good to have you back, though. There's plenty of stats to talk about. We're going to spend 3 hours of the show talking about just stats. So
sounds like a great plan to me.
Hopefully you guys are ready. No, we're not actually doing that. As much as Quincy really wanted to. All right, so yeah, he's going to be joining us once again. Obviously, somebody else you may recognize here, Ace Jr., the one and only Ace. How's it going?
What up, what up? It's going good. Glad to be here.
Where did they give your insight on all the matches and everything and how things played out?
I'll throw it on the knowledge that I have. I'm just in touch with the community, so I know what their feelings are, and we'll see if that plays a role in this discussion.
Fair enough. I mean, you're at least gonna tune in just to some of the matches. It's not like you're completely. I saw
BMG beat Sync. Let's just say that.
That was a pretty.
I was there
deal.
for that. Yeah.
That was a pretty big deal. With that said, that's kind of a good segue, of course, to our final co-cast here. The one and only Super KGE. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good, as normal. Just doing my thing.
Doing your thing. You're getting ready for Cycle 5. You guys have been practicing a whole lot, I'm sure. Really preparing.
Yeah, we've been starting to practice more and more now. But Tank has been away for a week, so we have started today again.
Okay.
Much, so.
I was honestly a little sarcastic there, so it sounds like you guys are practicing. That's
yeah,
good
we
to
are.
hear. Hey, you won a cycle, so want to keep that momentum, I'm sure, going in.
Yeah, we're talking about practicing more and more, just mainly because when we're not really practicing, even like we won, we were not practicing. What can we accomplish if we practice? So
imagine that. Yeah. Really dominate. That's the plan, at least. So obviously, Cycle 5, we're going to get a lot of fun information out of that. And that, of course, kicks off this weekend, and that's another thing I'm really excited. That's a great thing about these podcasts. It leads into the week that, of course, leads into another great cycle to kick things off again this weekend here with Cycle 5. So with that said, we got plenty to talk about. Not only recapping the previous cycle, of course, the Cycle 4, but looking forward to the next cycle. Also a couple of other things, including the top 10 power rankings that we're all going to go across and give our opinions on that. And a couple other news details here, including a 1-versus-1 tournament that's actually going on right now that you guys should definitely look to get involved in, as well as the Souls Theater update even, now being into the top 4 maps for Souls Theater. Again, we'll talk about that later on in the show. But to start things off, again, the flow of these podcasts as of late, you probably have noticed by now, we try to get you guys interact with the community as well, the people that are tuning in, give you guys a chance we have a straw poll for each of the topics, as well as the topics that we're talking about amongst ourselves. So with that said, the first topic that we're going to get right into here is to start things off, speaking of good old BMG winning Cycle 4. Which of these was actually more impressive to you guys? It's going to be interesting, I think, because Bad Monkey Gaming winning Cycle 4, I mean, yes, a very, very big deal. Or was it, though, Dawn finishing 3rd place? I mean, these guys actually had a pretty good run throughout Cycle 4. And, again, they came from the Gold Division into this cycle, so a very impressive 3rd place finish for them. So we'll kind of go around here. Quincy, we'll start with you. What do you think? Who was more impressive overall as far as the result goes?
I'll go with half of an apology to KGE. I have to go with Dawn finishing 3rd in Cycle 4. But that's not so much because I don't think that what BMG did was impressive, more because they can do that. I'm not that surprised that they won the cycle, so I am entirely shocked that Dawn finished all the way in 3rd. I mean, beating Willowkeeper in the round of 8 was impossible. That should not have happened. And their performance last cycle was absolutely fantastic. Probus obviously was amazing, and we'll talk about that more later. But I cannot believe how well they did, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do even better in the next cycle. So we'll see what these guys can do. But so far, they're looking like a team to beat.
Looking pretty good. All right, so Super KGE. I mean, I'm curious your answer here. What is it going to be?
Well, I was thinking about the same as Quincy here. Like, I feel like the Dawn finishing third is the obvious one to pick here, because we winning, like, how impressive is that? Like, it's kind of everyone should see it coming anytime soon. So
brush those shoulders off of yours there, man. I mean, just saw it coming, I guess, and then sure enough, it happened. All right, so you think Dawn's performance? Well, what about you? Think Dawn actually is going to keep that momentum into Cycle 5, or was that more of a fluke? You think?
I think they're gonna stay up in Diamond for sure. I think they could even possibly finish fourth, because I still feel like Willowkeeper is a better team because they've been together for so long. I don't think they should be able to lose to Dawn. Like, they're a kind of fresh team and everything. So.
Fair enough. All right, so Ace Jr., what about you? What do you think was more impressive overall?
You know, my answer was actually the exact same as those guys. Was BMG, I expected them to take one of these cycles eventually. You know, like, it took them a little bit longer than I had hoped. KG, hint, hint. But yeah, Dawn finishing third, didn't see that coming. That's impressive. You know, they moved up from the gold division, and now they're just playing with the big dogs, and they're playing to win. So I was impressed with it. I didn't get to see a lot of their games they played, but the pure fact that they're finished top 3 after coming from gold, again, in my opinion, that's the more impressive stat there.
Yeah. You know, it's I'm honestly a little surprised that it actually is going to be universal here. That's why I wanted to ask this question, because you would think on paper, yeah, a team for the first time this season winning a cycle, pretty big deal. But Quincy started it off right. I mean, BMG, we know that you guys have been a team that no doubt are a team to reckon with the skills of your players and everything and the experience. It was just a matter of time, you figure, before that competition was going to kind of kick in. So I'm going to have to say Dawn as well. And, you know, Probus in his play specifically, no doubt, was a big factor. I will say, I mean, you do look at Dawn's run. I'll pull up the brackets here on screen and once again for you to look at. Yeah, I mean, yes, the match against Willowkeeper obviously was a big upset. But, you know, you got to keep in mind that, of course, they were using Handskin. Or were they using Handskin at that point?
They used Balthazar for the first 2 games.
That's right.
Dawn.
That's right. So they did have Balthazar, so never mind about that. And that was actually their full roster. So never mind. I mean, that even makes it more impressive. And then even taking a game off of BMG in, of course, the semifinals, which actually could have definitely been a victory for them if I'm going to bring it up one last time here. If only Probusk knew how to press that E button, man. If only on that Vindicator. So, but no, that was a great series there, and of course, ultimately played out, and eventually losing to Sync, of course, in the loose bracket finals, but still a hell of a run for them. So, yeah, and I think it's safe to say, no doubt, that was not a fluke. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how they perform in Cycle 5, and specifically, Probus going to get his play kind of carrying that team. So I'll throw that around to you guys. Do you guys think it's fair to constantly bring up Probus when we're talking about Dawn here, or is it more of a team effort? Is Probus really that big of a player and that big of a carry for this team here?
Yes.
Simply put.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to go that far and say it's all Probus. I think Dawn made a couple of roster changes. Labyrinth is now drafting, and he's done a very good job in that. But I think, yeah, a lot of the reason that they are where they are is because Probus is as good as he is. And I actually talked to Labyrinth shortly for an article because I gave Probus Cycle MVP, and I was like, all right, so you're a team that, you're doing all right in gold, and all of a sudden you're in diamond and you're crushing everybody. And is it Probus? What's different? How much has he meant to you? And he's like, yeah, it's not just how good Probus is. It's they used to have some issues with their team dynamic. They used to have some problems communicating well, with flaming each other even when they were winning. And he's talking about how, bringing Probus in there, he's a more veteran presence, and he's allowed them to be a little bit calmer when it comes to playing the game. In the game, they're communicating better. And so his additions to that team are not just, in the stat lines. It's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on, too, that he's helping them gel a lot better.
Yeah. Then speaking of stats, I mean, there's an interesting one to kind of back that up, maybe even a little bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit here, as we got something on that. But yeah, Super KG as a fellow competitor, I'm actually curious. Do you think Probus really is that big a time of a player, or is it more of a team effort?
I think like the way they play is that they give everything to Probus. That's their team goal, in my opinion. That's how I see it when we play against them and everything. Like they put so much into letting Probus farm and do whatever he wants, and like they try to protect him in team fights and everything like that. I think they pick around Probus, and they're doing it really good. So, like, I think Probus is a really big thing in the team, of course, but the way they play, that's why they're winning. It's not mainly because Probus, but of course Probus is doing what he should in the role he has right now.
Yeah. And facts are facts in the sense that, what is different with the roster from when they were just a gold team, that they were in Diamonds in Cycle 1, but they got knocked down, and they were a gold team. What is a different factor? Well, it's Probus obviously joining the roster, so that's, you can't deny that, I think it's safe to say. So, Ace, anything to add there before moving on?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this strategy before, called Protect the King. My homie Muffins used to run it during a little in-office tournament we had, and it only goes so far. If you can protect the king well, then you're gonna do well, and it was obviously shown in this cycle. They got the third, so if the team is supporting Probus and Probus is playing up to that status where he can carry the games, he can get over half the kills in a game, he can do that, then by all means, that's props to him for being awesome. But then the team is also allowing him to step to that new pedestal and play and win games. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely seen that kind of strategy before. Reason Game for the longest time was known. We bring that up every now and then with Imba Boy specifically, and, even more in the past on that. So, it seems like that's kind of where they're at. Will that stick? Will they be able to stand again? Looking forward to Cycle 5 and how that plays out. Now, let's move on to the next topic here with that said. By the way, the community, not a whole lot of votes here from the straw poll, but some people tuning in, I'm going to be linking straw polls in chat for these topics, at least for most of them, so feel free to vote yourself so that we can look at it after, but majority actually went with BMG winning Cycle 4, although again that was pretty close there in the end. So something worth noting there. That's what the people think. But let's move on to the next topic here. Speaking of staying with Cycle 4, of course. Now, kind of the other side of the spectrum. Which performance was more disappointing in the end? These two specifically. We had Recent Gaming, kind of a newer Recent Gaming team. They got knocked down to Gold Division going into Cycle 5. A pretty tough run for them. Or was it Willowkeeper finishing in that 5th, 6th place spot after, as we even talked about just now, they initially got knocked down to losers bracket by Dawn at 2-0 on top of that. So which of these performances was more disappointing? Quincy?
This is a lot harder for me, but I still think I have to go with Willowkeeper. Reason Gaming, round of 8 going up against BMG. You can certainly see them losing that series. I don't think that they are the better team, and so they lost a series they probably should have lost. And then against Willowkeeper, again, a team that they probably should lose to. So, yeah, they got knocked down 0-4. Now they're in gold, but the teams they had to beat to stay in Diamond were very, very, very difficult. And you compare that to Willowkeeper, I feel like they probably should have beaten Dawn in the first round. I feel like they definitely should have beaten Night Raid and losers back around 2. And that's no disappointment to any of those teams. It's just Willowkeeper finished second in Cycle 2 and Cycle 3. So you're not really supposed to go from, consistently beating these teams to losing to the team that came up from gold and then losing to a team that you'd beaten repeatedly in the past. So I can completely understand why Reason would lose games to teams they should lose to. I don't really understand why Willowkeeper's losing games to teams that they shouldn't lose to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 8 teams, man, that's a really big thing to keep on mentioning is that when we only have 8 teams, it's
right.
Hey, 2 of those teams have to get knocked down. That's how the format works. Super KG, what about you?
I'm feeling the same way. Though, is Recent Gaming that kind of a new team together? Like, they have been playing a lot before together, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they've been obviously through some roster changes, specifically Probus leaving them initially and, kind of here and there. So, last cycle, the Cycle 3, they did a little bit better with kind of a similar roster, but...
Yeah, but the thing is, I still feel like Recent Gaming should do better than they're doing right now. Mainly because they've been playing together for so long. Like, these players they have right now, it's like one new guy, I believe, right now, than the last roster they had. So it's I still feel like they should do better, because before they like normally ended up as 3rd, 4th, 5th, something like this, and Yeah, I still feel like they should do better, but I do agree with what Quincy said. Pretty much everything what he said. So
yeah.
Ace,
what about you?
You know, coming into it, I had the answer of Reason Gaming going down to the gold, just because I feel like that is a bigger jump for the whole team themselves. Like, Willow Keeper is still okay. Despite whatever happens in that cycle, despite them getting 5th or 6th, the next cycle they still have a chance to get first. They're still in Diamond.
Yeah.
You know, they don't lose that spot. Now, Quincy brought up some good points and said, okay, you know, Reason Gaming's lineups, it was pretty tough to beat, you know, Will Keepers and BMG. But at the same time, you know, you're a Diamond team. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. You know, the reason you're up there is you should be able to beat one of those teams. You should snag a win here or there. Yes, all the teams can't stay up there. That's the point of the Diamond division and teams getting kicked down. But to go from now they're in gold. They have to do well in gold, grind through that session, and then come back up to Diamond again. To me, that's just a bigger hill to climb. Just they have to grind from lower end the totem pole and get back up on the ladder, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So that's my bigger one.
Well, I mean, in a sense, like we're talking about, they have been going through a little bit of roster changes. So, you know, in the big picture of things, maybe it will be for the better. You know, come the later part of the season, they get knocked down here, they're gonna go gold and, you know, get a little bit better practice, you know, throughout that cycle. Then back into Diamond will be the idea, of course, and then we'll see. You know, maybe if that helps them even a little bit, kind of almost a blessing in disguise kind of deal. But it's safe to say, obviously, when it comes to with Reason Gaming for me, now I'm going to say Reason Gaming as well, and the biggest thing for me was just how they lost. I mean, sure, there were tough opponents, not only against BMG, but of course Willow Keeper in the first round, but both of those series being 0-2, and this was a team that we were talking about going into the cycle. They were practicing the most out of any team in the end. But apparently, though, with that said, it was a lot against specifically Willow Keeper, which sure enough they played in that first round losers bracket matchup. So, you know, there's a couple of things there to really keep in mind. But I like what you pointed out, though, Ace. You know, in the end, Willow Keeper, they're still in Diamond. You know, they're still going to have a great chance to do well, kind of rebound here, where Reason will now have to grind back through that gold. So I think Reason Gaming, for me, would have to be that team as far as most disappointing goes. So as far as what the community thinks, at least the people tuning in that are voting here, it's very close, actually. It's a 10-9 split, very slight for Willow Keeper coming out from them. So, okay, interesting to check in on the community. Who's up behind you right there, Ace Jr.? You got a
that's
fan, it looks
big
like.
old milk fat.
The one and only?
Scoping the cast.
Checking it out. All right. Okay. And on top of that, let's move on to the next topic here. More of a lighter side, somewhat here. Again, speaking of Cycle 4, what do we think? Which hero were we more surprised to see? Which hero are you guys more surprised to see? Was it Probus got his Nighthound, which, to be fair, he did talk about a couple times here on the podcast, or was it Berserker being played by Mickey in those grand finals? That was quite the surprise there. Quincy, what would you say was more surprising?
I kind of have to split. It's hard because I think overall Nighthound makes no sense to be picked up, especially considering how well he did. Like I said, I think the last time I was on the podcast, what hero do you want to see most? And I think I picked Nighthound. So I suppose I'm obligated to pick Nighthound in this situation. But I got to give props to Stank for picking Berserker in the situation that they did. I mean, I think they were down 2-1 in that situation. So they picked Berserker and Electrician in an elimination game. And man, that takes more balls than I've got. So well done to Flenz and the rest of the guys. Still, in the end, though, I think Nighthound, and as well as he did, I did not think we were ever going to see this hero, at least without some pretty substantial changes. So the fact that he got picked up is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah.
Break. Can I interrupt you for 1 sec?
Sure.
Sam wants to send a message to KG.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what's up, Emil?
Hello, my big boy.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You?
Good. I just wanted to say really quick, didn't think it was possible for you to get any better looking, and you just blew those expectations out of the water. Your beard is just beautiful. Can't wait to stroke it in Thailand.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I can't wait for that either.
All right, have fun. Love you. Bye.
Yeah.
It's just That's people are
So
bringing that
much
up,
so.
man. I chose the perfect time to shave my beard apparently, and by that I mean not really. I got the baby face going on now. You guys all look more mature than me. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
It's not a competition break, y'all, right?
Okay, well, fine, fair enough. All right, where were we at?
We were at
Nighthound and Berserker. Super KG, of course.
Yep.
Back to you. So you played against at least the Berserker here. What did you think?
I kind of knew that they had been practicing it before. So as soon as they picked it, I said that Mick is going to play it to mid with Insania. Like as soon as I saw the pick, because I was 100% sure, because I've seen them do it before in scrims or something. I don't remember why, but somehow I knew instantly because I've seen it before. So I wasn't too surprised to see them pick it in that situation. But of course, it's a really rare hero to see. So yeah, that's really rare. And the Nighthound with Probus on that team is not that rare either, because Nighthound is like Probus hero mainly. So
okay. So if you had to choose,
if I have to choose, it's Berserker.
All right, good choice. Good choice. Ace Jr., which of these was more surprising for you?
Well, I got an answer for you right here. Nighthound more surprising, guaranteed. Because to be honest, I've seen Berserker do some nasty things in some games before, and Nighthound, in my opinion, is relatively always out of place. Now, with that said, I think Mickey played too YOLO of a Nighthound during that, or too YOLO of a Berserker during that game, because he won.
That's not a thing.
If we recall, I mean, it is a thing. You saw it. I mean, it was a thing. I don't know. He went he went Elder Parasite first when I thought he should have gone. I can't even think of it. But either way, yeah, I thought he should have gone on Sanitarius first. I mean, he just made these little things and it just went YOLO. And obviously, you have to do that as the hero. But I just think it didn't mesh and it didn't come out on top. So I have to say that because of that reason, I feel like Berserker was a little bit more out there. I don't know. That's not a definite answer. But the point is, surprised to see both of them. Well, thought Berserker could have been played better.
I mean, for me, the obvious answer for me is that it's Nighthound, because I've been saying Berserker is OP for the longest time. People know this, so I'm not surprised to see it picked up in winning games. You do bring up a great point, Quincy, though. I mean, the fact that they were down 2-1 in the grand finals, and that's when they went with it, that is something. But, hey, you saved the very powerful strats for times like that, I guess. So it is safe to say the electrician pickup in that matchup, though, perhaps was even the bigger deal.
I was going to say.
In that game. I mean, especially going up against a Silhouette. I mean, it's with how much we're seeing Silhouette, it seems like maybe electrician could possibly see a little more light here as a result. But yeah, Nighthound for me would have to be it. Even with Probus doing all the talking that it did, it's one thing to talk, it's another thing to show, and we got to see it at least there, and it was fun to watch. So I don't know if we'll see it again, but it was definitely fun to watch. So.
Well, it did really well.
It did.
Was it 4-0 and 9, 609 gold per minute?
Both did end up with a win in the end, so that's something too. All these new heroes, man. The community, at least the people tuning in, looks like they slight advantage for Nighthound there, 13-9 in votes. So Nighthound taking it as far as what our viewers think there. But again, pretty close, and that's a good thing. That's the point of these after all. So. And keeping things moving here, the final thing to talk about to kind of recap Cycle 4 before we move on to what's now ahead of us at Cycle 5. Always a fun one to end with something like this, where which was the crazier stat? Now, I'll lead off by saying, I mean, there was a lot of crazy stats, and like I said, Quincy, okay, here's the deal. I literally asked Quincy for two stats, just two stats, and he basically posts like 3 or 4 pages of stats after I requested just 2 stats. There's a lot there. So, but so I picked 2, and these were kind of some interesting ones. So we'll start with these at least. So, but which of these stats is crazier? Which you guys think? Empath going from 2-5 in Cycle 3 to then 9-2 in Cycle 4. I mean, that's quite the turnaround there. Or Probus as a player averaging 10.1 kills per game, which ended up being half of the kills per game for his team, as they averaged just over 20 kills per game. So one player, doing a lot of work. So that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with Probus, of course. So, well, let's change things up here a little bit. We're going to go to reverse action. Ace, what do you think?
Oh, why, thank you, here? First of all. All right. Well, taking into account our previous discussion on Probus and how his team's strategy was not purely, but for the majority, was protect the king and protect the president and give Probus everything and make sure that he excels and wins. Because of that, I'd say the better stat is the change in empath win rate, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's because, one, I think empath is a hard character to play. And I think if you play her well, then your team's going to – I mean, now thinking about it, this is probably a bland statement, but if you play her well, your team's going to win. If you play her bad, you can really, I don't know, not help the team at all. And, either way, point is, I don't think the Probus thing is too wild. So I'm going to have to put my my eggs in the empath basket, if you will.
All right. Going with the empath. Super KG, what about you? Which of these was
I kind of agree with everything pretty much he said is here. But I still feel also a thing to bring up here with empath, and he was talking about if you're really good, you're going to make a huge impact in the game. And if you're bad, of course you're going to lose. But even if you're like decent, you can still fail the game pretty hard, because the walls really need to be good to win the game pretty much, because the hero is more about the walls than everything else on the hero, really. Because the main reason why you pick the hero is the wall. No doubt about it. So, and the thing he said about Probus having half of the kills in the team, it's the way they play is exactly that way. So I'm not too surprised for that, mainly because they farm up items till they can team fight and then they push.
Yeah.
And he's having the most farm, so he's probably gonna get the most kills.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna jump in real quick. So when I play with Milk Fat, he's obviously he's a good player. Yeah, we'll give him that, right? Sure, except for KG's thoughts. Either way, with that said, I usually play support. I'm a pretty dang good support. But in the end of the day, I'll sacrifice my life for the carry, just because that's what a support's supposed to do. I'm just a good player like that. I know the game. This is what happens, though. At the end of the game, you have the carry with like 20 kills, 3 deaths, and I'm sitting there with 3 kills, 5 deaths, and usually Milkbat will be like, oh yeah, I had the best game of it was just so good, I carried the team. And it was like, you don't realize that we helped you get all those kills. Like, that was the whole strategy was, empower our best player. So on that note, it's like, all right, well, that was their whole strategy, empower Probusk. So that's my 2 cents.
I hope Milfat's tuning in right now to really. Okay,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, there he is. Look at that. He's,
yeah.
Okay, he's just doing whatever. All right,
Doing his thing.
Quincy, what about you? What about you with these?
All right, I'm gonna have to disagree with the two. Ace, I feel your pain, man. As a sport player, there are so many games where you have a mediocre KD and it's like, oh, you're such a feeder, you're so bad, and you're like, well, the reason that you didn't die 15 times is because you had wards in your jungle that entire damn game, you idiot. So
Yeah, exactly.
like, hey, let's maybe realize how this game works before you start throwing blame. At the same time, I think it's important to realize exactly how good Probusk was last cycle. 10.1 kills per game was a new single cycle record. He also, for a Dawn team that had 20.2 kills per game, that was 5th. So they were not getting a ton of kills. They were basically just like, Probus gets all the kills. It's not necessarily a situation where the team around him was even doing all that much. It was so focused on how well he was doing. Empath is the biggest cycle over cycle improvement. That's the largest difference in win rate we've seen from one cycle to the next. But that's the sort of thing that can happen. You've got 10 or 11 games of a hero and stuff like that. You're probably going to have a couple of situations where in one cycle it does poorly for whatever reason. Maybe teams that were lower on the rankings picked them up, or maybe they just had a bad game or whatever. And then the next cycle, the opposite happens, and for whatever reason, that hero is popular among the better teams, and so it does a lot better. So I think the first one's a lot more likely to just be a random fluke. It's still cool and interesting, but Probusk, again, cycle record for kills per game. That's the largest percentage of team hero kills we've seen for a team that didn't. It'd be one thing if they were like lighting up, the kills score or whatever, but they weren't really. And then the other thing you got to bring up too is Dawn played 12 games, which was tied for the second with BMG. Sync played 13. Averaging 10.1 hero kills per game for 12 games is not easy. It's not like they did this in 5 or 6 or even 8 games. That's a long time of sustained excellse. So
and the further you get, the higher competition you're playing too. So yeah, there's definitely validity to that, of course. Hey, that's a good job backing that up for sure. And I was leaning more towards the empath, but you bring up some good points actually. You really do. So wasn't there also Probus also have the highest kill to death ratio that we've seen so far?
He set a single cycle record with 4.17. It's the first time anybody's crossed 4, and this cycle actually, the 3 highest single cycle kill death ratios were all in cycle 4. Haxerin was second with 3.52, Beaverbanger was third with 3.23, and those are the only 3 players to ever cross 3. So Zlapt was the previous record holder at 2.93 in cycle 2.
I'm trying to see, is that telling us that maybe like there's a shift going on as far as like really carry focus strats? Haxerin with BMG, Beaverbanger with who does he play for? Night Raid? Yeah, Night Raid. And then Nullstone. He plays for Nullstone. That's right. One of those American teams. I guess Probus obviously for Dawn. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to kind of follow here.
Yeah.
On the next cycle then. So
I mean, KGE probably be a better person to answer that question, but
I mean,
at least in the last cycle, it was very carry oriented in terms of the kills.
Well, would you say that, KGE? Did you feel like a lot of your strat even was based around getting the Haxerin farm, or?
The way we've always played since we picked up Haxerin is pretty much more focused on carries, because that's his playstyle. But he can also play everything, because one game he even played Kraken, and we he played like really damn good that game, so I'm giving props to him. So like, not only can he play really damn good carry, but he can play anything else also. And that's what you kind of want as a carry player. Like, he should not only be able to play like a few heroes, you want to be able to play as many heroes as possible. A bit like me.
Would you say now, okay, if you're going to bring that up, Supergate, who's the best player on your team?
Hacks.
Oh, come on.
Haxerin.
Come on.
I never give credit to myself when it comes to my team.
What about this, Supergate? While we're on this topic still, I mean, something we actually criticized quite a bit. Tank Effect doesn't seem to like picking you up hook heroes, man. We finally got to see you play at least Devour, but
Prisoner.
Did we got to see you play Prisoner? That's
Prisoner
right.
was crushing.
But no, he's been playing a lot. You've been playing like a lot of Pebbles, other of these kind of heroes lately. Do you feel like you're not playing enough hook heroes, or are you satisfied?
I'm fine. I can play like really whatever, though I failed big time today in the scrims. I need to say that. I missed like 8 Pebble stuns or something like that today.
Alright, well, stay away from Pebbles then. More Devo.
Yeah.
Make that happen. Okay, so, alright. But yeah, so Cycle 4 again. Obviously, ultimately BMG taking it, and thus we have a new team on top for the time being. So it's going to be fun moving forward. Speaking of that, let's move forward here. Let's start talking about Cycle 5 now, and seeing what we got to get ready for here. So, first kind of debate, the kind of question we're going to be bringing up is which portion of the bracket is a tougher run to the winter bracket finals? In your guys' mind. Now, I'm going to show them on screen here as well, but as you can see, so these are what the brackets look like for Cycle 5. And again, it's really important to note that the bracket in the next cycle is always based on your results from the previous cycle, so as far as seeding goes. In the past, it actually used to be based off where you were in points in the standings throughout the season. This season, and I think it's the first time, for this season, it was changed to be just simply how you did in the previous cycle. So if you're a team, in this case like BMG, they actually got the first seed going into Cycle 5 because, they won the previous cycle. Where in the past, Sync, though, technically is on top of the standings with their 3 cycle victories initially as far as points go. So anyways, with all that said, here we are with the brackets. So these are the matchups. Which of these is a tougher run of the winter bracket finals, do you think? Is it BMG and Shrek and Night Raid and Willowkeeper, Night Raid versus Willowkeeper in the top? Or would it be Sync versus Rexars and Dawn versus Nullstone Gaming in the bottom portion of the bracket? So what do you guys think here as far as that's concerned? We'll go back to Quincy here. What do you think, Quincy? All
right, fuck. I've been studying this question for 3 days, and now when we go back to me, I get to answer first.
There you go.
I gotta say it's the bottom. It's a really hard call, but I mean, Sync, I still had them number 1 in the power rankings. Sorry, KGE, I feel bad. But I still think they're the best team. They're the best team in Han right now. And until they start to lose a little more consistently, I think they're going to occupy that spot for me. Rexars went undefeated in Gold Cycle 4. So, I mean, I don't want to say that they're better than that bracket, but they certainly seem to look like they are better than that bracket. Dawn, meantime, was amazing. It's their first cycle in Diamond, so they have experience in Diamond now. It's just their second cycle with Probus, so they should get better there. And I think Nullstone has underperformed maybe for the last couple of cycles, but they're really, really good. On the other hand, the other side of that bracket, I like Willowkeeper a lot. I like BMG a lot. Shrek is Love had some trouble in the Gold Grand Finals against Rexars. I love that team. A lot of great guys in that team. I think they're going to be back in Gold Division next cycle, and I don't think it's going to take very long. And I out of all the teams in Diamond right now, Night Raid is the one that I can't pin. I don't know. I don't know what they are, because like they do something like last cycle where they beat Willowkeeper, and I feel like that just shouldn't happen. But you see them play, and they're very good, but I don't know why. I can't get that through my brain. It doesn't want to accept the idea that, hey, man, maybe Night Raid is like a top 4 team.
They almost even beat Dawn last cycle, too.
Right.
I mean.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Either way. Yeah, I mean, the bottom half of that bracket, I think any of those 4 teams could go to the Winners Bracket Finals. Nullstone probably not going to do so, but the other 3, would it really shock you if any of them were there? I don't think so.
If Rexars is, that would shock me.
You should be prepared to be a little surprised. I think
we'll see.
They won't beat Sync, but they can. That's all I'm saying.
I've heard a lot about Rexars in the past, and let's just say I've just continued to be disappointed, to be frank. So we'll see. We'll see in Cycle 5 if that changes things. But
they're a little different now than they were in the past.
Okay.
They picked up Rocky Balboa, who's playing jungle for them and doing very, very well. And that's a dangerous team.
Well, that's fair. We'll see how that moves on. Super KG, what about you? What do you think? Which is a tougher? Your side or the other?
This one is really hard to pick. Like, the top 3 teams right now is Sync first place, and then us, and then Willowkeeper. Based off the records, but I still feel like we're gonna be a better team here. Like we're getting there. Alright. And all the praise goes to Mickey though from Sync. He's by far the best player right now. Other than that, like about this now, the bottom bracket, that's the teams I see there is Sync and Dawn. In the upper bracket, I see us and Willowkeeper. The rest of the teams is not that, like they're getting there, I guess. They're not that high up right now. So if I have to choose from the ranking systems, it's going to be 2nd and 3rd place in the top bracket. So that's going to be the harder one, I believe.
All right. No, that's, hey, you got to get them to come to a conclusion somehow, and that's a very well thought out way there, Super KG. So yeah, I can respect that. All right. So choosing the top there, Ace Jr., what do you think?
I choose the top as well. Because of that, or I don't know, the reason why is because I think that you got BMG and Tree in top. And so Willowkeepers and BMG, and I think they're both great teams. And as your boy KG over here was saying, is that my rankings say Sync, BMG than Willowkeepers. So I think that's going to be a harder bracket to get through. Well, I think the bottom one, I just believe that Sync can beat all these teams. I know Dawn had a really good run last cycle, but again, things can happen on one cycle. They don't really dictate exactly how the next cycle is going to pan out. So just because you did well in one cycle, who knows? Maybe Dawn's going to go back to the gold division next cycle. Who knows? So with that saying, and then Nullstone Gaming and Rexars, I think Nullstone's really good, but I just think Sync will have not an easy time, but we'll be able to, I don't want to say breeze, but relatively easily get through to the Winners Bracket Finals. Well, I think if you're a BMG or Willowkeepers, it's going to be a little bit of a more difficult situation.
I'm 100% with you. BMG is still the only team to actually beat Sync Esports. We can't forget that. Sure, Sync got 2nd place last cycle, but BMG is the only team to beat them, and obviously they wouldn't meet up until the Winner Bracket Finals if that's the case. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Sync is going to have a fairly easier run in the end going through that bottom portion of the bracket. Hey, we'll see about Rexars, but even after that, then Dawn and Nullstone, the winner of that. I expect to be Dawn at this rate, but who knows? Will they get the momentum? Was that something that they're going to be able to keep up with in this cycle? So, but yeah, because of all those reasons, I would have to go with the top of BMG. Night Raid and Willow Keeper specifically. I do agree that Shrek is low, unfortunately. Maybe not going to have the biggest impact there, but never underestimate at the same time. Super KG, I don't know how much research you've done on those guys or looking forward to playing them, but as you're looking up their profile now, right, you're just like, all right, who is on this team? We're playing them. I might as well check here. We'll see. Yeah, we got the chance, and kind of interesting here. So, a little more votes for this one. Which portion of the bracket from the viewers here? Bottom actually won by quite a bit, 20 to 9 votes given to the top. So majority actually think the bottom portion is actually the tougher. Interesting. So we were kind of the opposite here, other than Quincy, I guess. So
y'all gonna be wrong. It's
right.
fine.
Quincy's with his people, I guess. I think the majority's wrong though in this case. We'll see. Which is the next one? Okay, here we go. Everybody talked a little bit about this, but which gold team will do better overall? Is it Shrek is Love, or will it be Rexars? I have a feeling I know which way this is going to go for this guy over here, Quincy. So we're going to start with Ace Jr. instead.
To be honest, I don't have a great answer for you on this. I chose Rexars because I wanted to. But I just haven't seen them both play a lot. Yeah. Like I've usually catch the winners bracket finals and the losers bracket finals and grand finals for the Han tours over the season. So I get a lot of time seeing the good teams, but those early teams that are just on the brink of diamond and gold, I don't really watch a lot. So I chose Rexars because I like their name, but I also like Shrek is Love, but they have a creepy icon for their team. So. Yeah. So I kind of strayed away from that.
Reminds me of like the NCAA tournament. A lot of people just choose teams like I like their mascot, so I'm gonna go with.
Don't get me wrong, Rexars wasn't Insania on Rexars for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so has it been who replaced him?
They've gone through a lot of roster changes since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, and then in my experience, I felt like they had done the best in the past. I don't really know though, so I don't want to give like a for sure answer here.
All right, fair enough. Super KG, what do you think?
Rexars has been together for the longest time, if you compare it to Shrek is Love, so I'm gonna give them that. I think they're gonna do better, but now Shrek is Love, they picked up Nox.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I still feel like if they're gonna do the thing that Dawn is doing, put everything on Nox instead, they can go far as well. So I'm not counting them out, but I still feel like Rexars has the upper hand here. No doubt about it.
Nox is a part of Shrek is Love now. Okay, I can't say I was aware of
that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
His another nickname on the
Horsebolt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we've seen him play on that name before, yeah.
Yep.
Quincy.
Boy, man, I'm sure everybody's in suspense wondering who I'm going to pick, but yeah, I'm going to round it out. It's going to be Rexars. I think Ogre's probably going to go 0-2-0-2, as much as that hurts me to say, because it's a bunch of good people, and they cast me a lot, so I feel bad throwing them under the bus like that, but it's probably going to happen. I mean, I don't think there's any realistic chance they beat BMG, and I don't think there's any realistic chance they beat, presumably, Night Raid, or the other half of the bracket, right?
No, they would play the loser of Nullstone and Dawn down there.
Which is probably going to be Nullstone. Yeah, so I think they'd probably lose to Nullstone. Yeah. So, I don't know. They lost in the grand finals of Gold relatively quickly to Rexars. I don't know if... I think this is sort of a team that's on the edge between Diamond and Gold. They're a little too good for Gold, and they're not quite good enough for Diamond. Rexars is a team that could pull a Dawn this cycle, I think. They could surprise a lot of people, show up in 3rd or 4th place, maybe even higher if they get really, really good. But I don't know. I think... It's hard because they haven't been in Diamond since Cycle 2, so it's hard to remember exactly how good they can be and how good that they were in the qualifiers even, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised they do really well.
Yeah, the both of these teams to me again, they do feel like these gold level teams where it is good to see them here. Welcome to the Diamond, but at the same time, I don't think your stay is going to be long, unfortunately. It really is because it's different. Last cycle, Cycle 4, we saw I think it was Prime Icarus and Dawn come up, and there was a lot of talk about Dawn specifically with Probus being on their team, and how I wouldn't have been surprised to see them stay alive in Diamond, and sure enough, they did. Now, hearing Nox again being a part of Shrekka's Love, that's not the same situation. Sure, Nox has had a lot of great history in Han, but Probus was playing a lot more recently than Nox and a lot more active in that sense, I think it's safe to say. So, I got to, unfortunately say this is going to be a short stay here most likely for both of these gold teams, but would love to be disappointed, especially if Shrekka's Love takes out BMG in the first round. That would be awesome, just saying.
Yeah, about that.
Probably not, though.
Don't think so.
Okay, community, pretty much the same there. Yeah, Rexars, that they agree with there. Shrekka's Love, a little bit of love, but maybe they like the mascot there of Shrek.
Who knows, man?
we'll never know for sure. This next one here, I'm actually really curious about this one. I thought, I want to give myself a pat on the back. This is a good one here.
Oh.
Which hero will be banned more in Cycle 5? Will it be Silhouette or Cthulhu Font? So I bring this up specifically, Cthulhu Font, because he's just kind of been the go-to banned hero in a lot of cases throughout the season so far. Or Silhouette, on the other hand, she's getting a lot of hype, especially last cycle. Probus, Flensmeister, we saw Zibe play it a couple times. I mean, this hero's getting a lot of attention in that carry role. So keep it going, kind of snake here. So Quincy, we'll start with you. What do you think?
It's a pretty easy win on Cthulhu's part there for me. I'd say Swiftblade's probably a little bit more dangerous than even Silhouette is at this point. Last cycle she did get played 8 times, and she went 4-4. So I don't know, not the greatest performance in the world in terms of the overall winning percentage. Cthulhu, meanwhile, is just such a cancer hero. It's impossible to deal with that hero on the suicide lane. And we basically see what used to be Kronos and Puppet Master every game banned by Hellborn. Now it's basically Swiftblade and Cthulhu. So I think Cthulhu's the easy choice for me.
We'll go with Ace Jr. next. Ace, what do you think?
I tell Waz this every day. Cthulhu Font OP, man. That it's so frustrating when you get that, what is it, fear, terror, whatever you have. I don't know what it's called.
Dream of Madness.
Yeah, Dream of Madness. You see it start ticking. You're like, are you serious? I can't kill this Cthulhu. He's got a creep on him. He's doing damage in front of him. You can't do anything to him. I don't know. So, in my opinion, Cthulhu is still one of the most OP heroes in Han right now. But meaning that if he's on a competitive team, they're going to win. So, Cthulhu takes my vote.
I will say this, both these hero names are probably the most frustrating names to try to spell correctly. And apparently I misspelled Silhouette there. And you know what? I don't care.
Holy. All right.
Super KG, what, coming from the competitive side of things, what do you think?
Cthulhu Font, easy.
Really? Okay.
Quincy, how many games have I played him? Can you check that up? Or do you don't have that?
Yeah, I can.
You play Cthulhu Font?
Yeah, I'm the one that plays Cthulhu Font.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
You've played Cthulhu 4 times. You are 3-1 with a kill death of 3.5, 3.3, 8.5, and 329 GPM.
I would do better.
137 CS.
What?
We lost one.
You lost the game.
Not overpowered.
No, but
no need to balance.
I still feel like he's way too good. Like, there's other replacements instead of Silhouette. You can pick other heroes. But Cthulhu Font, I don't think there's any hero that can really replace him if you have the option to pick him. So I still feel like he's a bit too good. So
all right,
you lost game 1 of Cycle 4 Grand Finals against Sync.
That's right. Yeah, you did.
Sync too good.
You must have forgot it.
So
KG,
I'm not sure there's too much shame to be held there. Losing to Sync.
Not a big deal. The community goes with Cthulhu Font here, 17-9 as far as the votes are concerned. So a little bit of love for Silhouette. As fun as the question I think was, I do see why Cthulhu Font would probably be the correct choice here. It's just because of his history. So Silhouette may be more of a in the moment. We'll see if that last / Great point by Super KG. There are just other options as well for her compared to Cthulhu. So, all right, there you go for that one there. And to finish off, we're looking forward to cycle number 5. The ultimate question. Let's just get down to it here. Which team is going to take cycle 5? Let that kind of soak in and see what you guys think. Quincy, we'll put you on the spotlight first.
I think Sync climbs the hill again. BMG, very good team. I think Sync is now mad. Maybe before they were a little bit complacent. I don't know. I'm just throwing random guesses out there. It's not to say that I've talked to anybody about anything, but it's easy to go like, all right, well, we've won 3 straight cycles. Nobody's really doing all that much to challenge us, so maybe we can get a little bit comfortable. And now the fear is maybe back a little bit, and that's always good. That's what keeps you good. So I think Sync is going to come back with a vengeance, and they'll probably take the cycle again over BMG. So at least you guys will make the grand finals, but I think Sync wins.
Hey.
And I'm going to add gold because, hey, why not? Let's talk about gold division. Chat Roulette Boys. Yeah. I think Reason makes it back, but they lose to Chat Roulette Boys.
Chat Roulette Boys. I've heard about these guys. Their roster over there. We'll talk about that a little bit here too. But Ace, what do you think?
You know, KG, I need you to promise me this right now. If I say BMG, you guys take it again.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, there we go. No doubts in his mind. Let's go BMG then. I mean, even though I do think Sync still, like in my power rankings, I think Sync is still number 1, but I think KG and the BMG boys are on a roll. You know, can't stop the monkey.
Okay. I was like Monkey King. They don't run Monkey, but that makes more sense.
No, just the monkey, as in BMG. Bad Monkey King. Can't stop playing.
Got you.
Roll, get on my level, son. No, I'm just...
This is a very curious answer here from Super KG, I'm sure. What do you think?
We're practicing a lot more now, and we're probably going to practice this whole week if we can. So I still feel like we're gonna. I still feel like we can do it again. But the way, like as soon as they lost, Sync lost to us, they started scrimming every day. I don't know for how many days they have been scrimming right now in a row.
Yeah.
But they have been playing so much right now. They've been trying new things. I've seen like a scrim here and there, but that's about it, as I don't log into that much anymore. But I still go in and check what they're doing and keeping up to date a bit, I guess. So, like, they're playing a lot, and they really want to take us down now. So I think they have a chance, and like, yeah, of course they have a chance, but I still think we can take it down. Like, we can stay up there again.
See, here's the thing. I don't know if I'm worried or if I honestly, when I first heard Super KG that you guys actually are practicing a lot more, my first reaction was that, okay, that's awesome to hear. But then the other part of me, as I'm thinking about it more, is like, but not practicing has been working for you guys pretty well, and clearly worked for you in Cycle 4. So is this going to help you? No, I'm sure it will help in the end. But yeah, no doubt Sync is going to be looking for that revenge 100%. We stressed so much going into Cycle 4 that no team in Han Tour history has won more than 3 cycles in a row. Go figure. That still stands here, as of course you guys came in and stopped them. Now, with that said, if I'm not mistaken, last season State Green had a very similar situation where they won 3 in a row, they lost one, and they won the next one after that. So, you know, maybe that's where you kind of look at Sync and, like, maybe that's going to be kind of a repeat there. But at the same time, hey, BMG's practicing more. You guys going to be even more dedicated going forward now that you are the top dogs. I'm going to say BMG. Maybe it's because Super KG's on the cast. If Insanity was on, I probably would have said Sync. Just gotta stick up to the players, you know. No.
A quick question though. Last season, didn't BMG win the last 3 cycles in a row?
You did, yeah. You did.
Yeah. So if there was another cycle, hey.
Was that a question? Or was that a statement?
He's just randomly pointing out that fact. I mean,
no, I wasn't sure if he won the last 3. I wasn't sure.
Pretty sure you did.
technically speaking, SG also won the last 3 cycles of Haunter Season 1 and then the first 3 cycles of Haunter Season 2.
Yeah.
So you could consider that 6 straight as well.
That's quite a bit.
We're not
Depending on how
talking
you
about
want
them,
to
though.
I'm just
We're
saying,
talking about
for
what
them,
he's talking about.
they won the last 3 cycles and then there were more cycles for that team.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we could talk about that's obviously it's sports in general. That's always brought up about streaks and history and everything. But in the end, I mean, it's really we don't ultimately know, and it's just going to be a matter of time before we get to find out here going to this weekend. But that's it's going to be a good weekend, man. We got a lot of right off the bat as usual. It's the great matchups, of course, going to be coming at you. And one more time to be pulling up the brackets here before we move on. That's what we're looking at to start here on Saturday, guys. This Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time. Time should all be good now, again, with all the daylight savings crap and all over the world these last couple of weekends have to deal with. But now it should be good and back to normal in that sense, as far as that's concerned. So, again, that kicks off this Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time. Cycle number 5 going to be coming at you. This will be kind of the hump over the halfway point, really. As remember, there's only 8 cycles now going now in Season 3. So this is definitely going to and I mean I might as well take a look real quickly here at the standings while we're talking about that, because this is where these are going to start becoming a little bit more meaningful. As they've always been meaningful, obviously, but now we're going to start paying more attention to them in terms of how things are possibly going to start shaping up, because it gets more and more important as, of course, the season starts to now be on the back end here. And seeing how things are kind of closing. So right now, not surprising to see Sync on top there, winning 3 cycles despite losing the last one. But, BMG getting that second place spot now, and Willowkeeper sitting comfortably in that third place spot, but with still 4 more cycles to go. There's a lot of room to be made up with a whole second half of the season coming at you. So good fun there, indeed.
yeah, Twitch chat is saying that you're lying, Super KG.
Uh-oh. Yeah,
Guys,
I said I was asking as a question. Did
Ah,
we win
okay.
Oh, technically
So
Lions
I
won 2 cycles and then BMG won 2.
So I didn't lie.
I think it's 6, 7, then SG won 8, and then 9 and 10.
Yeah, that actually. I do remember it was SG won 4 out of the 5 first cycles, and then BMG won the last 4 out of the 5 cycles. So
right.
It was, BMG had all the momentum going into the later part.
Yeah. And then we lost Thailand.
And then let's not talk about that.
Nope.
All right. So there's again Cycle 5 to look forward to. So that kind of transitions us into our next thing here. So kind of another part of the show that talking about some power rankings coming at you. So once again, kind of going over all the teams and how we feel things are looking right now, moving forward, and where teams are at. And we got the top 10 list coming at you. So we're going to start with Super KGE here because he happens to be first on my list. So, Super KGE, I got your list showing, and shocker, BMG, you have first place. BMG first, Sync second. I mean, again, you can kind of read out for yourself, guys. But what about your rankings here, Super KGE? Anything you wanted to note?
No, not really. What should I say about
Night Raid's 7th place. I mean, so Night Raid's one of those teams that we're talking about that's like, we're not really sure how good they are. You're not too concerned about Night Raid being a team to worry about?
Not right now. I need to see them in action before, like, one cycle, like OTP. That's
OTP.
Yeah, it's like
those guys from my boys for a little bit, Shout out to Archie.
But I don't know, like one cycle, I don't think that's good enough. So like they need to do better than one cycle. So of course they can do really good, but is it gonna last longer than one cycle? Is it? Yeah, it's stuff like that. So
what do you think about Cookies being back?
That's really nice. I like that guy. I played a lot of Strife with him. So yeah,
good
bring
stuff.
back Cookies.
Shrek is love. You had over Rexar's there, and then Twisted Fusion to wrap things up. So, there you go.
Quick question on that Cookies note. Do you know what team he's playing on, or if he's playing back?
Yeah, Night Raid. That's
he's in Night Raid.
Yep.
That's why it's so good. That's where the 7.
Is King played on Night Raid too?
Yep.
He is.
He sure is. Yeah, a lot of these guys are coming
another
back,
reason
man.
why they're so good.
AL's kind of making a comeback.
Yeah, I may have to change my power rankings.
Didn't realize. Well,
No, I mean, Absolute Legends used to be my jam. Those guys rock.
They do. Yeah,
Is
no,
it
they're
just
kinda
me?
back. What's up?
Or are there more of the players on that team tagged up as AL than as
Oh
NR?
yeah, no, I think only like 2 players, if not 1, is just tagged up NR. So.
Right.
I mean, it's American scene. Like you can't expect them to ever tag up.
These
correctly,
guys.
So.
Nullstone took them like, what, a couple of months, and they finally got on.
And I don't even think it's still good now. So. Yeah, that's a whole other topic. All right. Quincy, you happen to be next here on the list, so let's look at your list. So you have Sync first.
I do. So Sync, BMG, Tree, Dawn, Night Raid, Null, Reason, Rexars, Chat Roulette Boys, and Shrek is Love. So sorry, Shortcan, but Rhymaker is not able to make my top 10. Notable stuff, yeah, NR 5th, and they, again, continue to be a team that I don't understand. I feel like we're not giving them enough respect for how well they've done, at least in the last couple of cycles. But they've done well, so it's really hard to ignore them. BMG over Tree, second. I think they've definitely earned that, but I don't know if Dawn's not enough yet to prove themselves better than Willowkeeper, even with how iffy Willowkeeper looked last weekend, especially. And then I have Chat Roulette Boys, yes, again, over Shrek is Love. They've only been together for 1 cycle, and they did very, very well. They nearly made Diamond, actually. They got to lose bracket finals against Shrek is Love. Took them to 3 games and nearly won. But yeah, I think with this team gets a little bit more time together, and they will be able to do very, very well. I think they're one to watch out for. Yeah, and Archie Tiger's on that team, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I'm showing it on
Yeah.
screen right now. Yeah, you got Arch Tiger, Adro, Vagina Thief, the one and only.
Who is, owned me.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
We'll call him Own Me then. So yeah, definitely players I recognize there. So they kind of took over the Wop Dash team, correct? I'm guessing. That's
Sort of, yeah. Drogan, Leroy, a.k.a. Mbapingu, were both on that team, so it was the Forgotten One, and they picked up Archie Tiger, Adro, and owned me.
Yeah. All right. Next power rankings. Who's next? Looks like
That's me, I think.
I got me. I'm just going by the list here.
Oh, all right,
You're
dude.
gonna be last. Sync Esports I put first. I've always been a big advocate of. I don't do my power rankings based on what do I think is going to happen moving forward necessarily, or very, very like what just happened, but more so over a little bit over time, and in this case kind of over the season. So I think it's hard to argue that Sync should be number 1, at least in my mind, for the power rankings currently. But hey, BMG wins another cycle here, then perhaps something can change there. But I will say, BMG winning both the Winter Bracket Finals and the Grand Finals definitely made this at least somewhat of a difficult decision. But anyways, so I have the first, BMG second. Willowkeeper's up there for now, but I'm a little worried about Willowkeeper. Again, the performance, yes, they were using the Hanskin as their ringer in the second day, that ultimately finishing 5th, 6th. So sure, as a team, it definitely wasn't a full roster there, but I have been hearing some rumors that they may not be 100% moving forward. So I'm a little worried about that for their sake, but we'll see come cycle 5. Night Raid, I'm on board with you, Quincy. Formerly known as The Last of Us here. This has been a team for me that I've never, every now and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to kind of get behind them, but then they have 20 roster changes. They change their tag constantly, and it's like, I can't do it. But they have been getting a little momentum here. A 4th place finish this last cycle, some impressive victories. I got to bump them up a little bit. Who knows if that'll continue. And again, seeing Cookies back and play all those guys, the AL guys, is good to see as well. So, and then kind of rounds up from there. Nothing. I put Rexstars twice. I like them that much. I put them 8th and 10th place. I was just like, these guys are great. No, that was obviously a mistype there. I believe I meant to put Shrek is Love as my 10th place team. But anyways, so there you go. I gave some love to Prime Icarus as well. I think it's worth noting, mainly because again they made Diamond last cycle, and sure they got knocked down, but hey, that's successful in itself, and I think it's worth the notice there. So, all right, now it's your turn, Ace. Now it's your turn. Now I got your list on screen. So
finally, I've been
Night Raid all the way at 9th place. Oh my gosh, I
know.
Hate
well,
Night Raid.
I didn't understand who Night Raid really was. They took me by surprise, let's say. No, but yeah, this is, again, of my kind of, I don't know. I don't watch as much competitive Han as I should, but I do watch the big games. So of the top four teams right there, I can tell you that I think Sync is still number one. I think BMG is creeping forward, but they need to win at least one more cycle before they even could be considered number one. I think Willow Keepers has that. They're that solid 3 spot. You know, I think they're better than all the teams below that. I think it goes Sync, BMG, kind of like battling. You know, BMG creeping up. Willow Keepers, they're coming up, but they're kind of just still stuck right there. They're not good enough to beat those 2 teams or to consistently beat them, and then vice versa. I feel like they're good enough to beat the rest of the teams. I know they had a bad performance this last round, but I'm going to take that as a mulligan. The rest of it was kind of just see how they're placing up in the Han Tour rankings, see how they've been doing in the cycles, and to be honest, the only adjustment I'd make, Night Raid. I'd move that guy, that team up. I'm going to start watching their games, to be honest, now that I know the team.
Who's actually on their team.
Yeah, well, I love those guys. I played a game of Mid Wars with King Plato the other day. Carried my ass. So
That'll happen.
Yeah, that's my rankings.
All right. Quincy, do you have how many? I know you get the polls from a lot of different people throughout the scene for these rankings. How many people put BMG first, other than we know Super KG did, obviously, but
you're gonna have to give me a second to log into the thing. Then,
okay, and I didn't know if you had the top of your head. Well, so it's more than one. I take it.
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
I put it up and have not since touched it. So.
I'd be curious. I mean, because again, it wouldn't surprise me if more people put them number one. But
what? Surprise?
but at the same time, I would be surprised. They'd be wrong, is what I should say.
Well, I have 29 responses so far, and
oh, jeez, a lot of.
That's not that many. If I'd done it earlier, it probably would have been a lot better. But looks like Bad Monkey Gaming averaging second place, 2.24, and Sync's at 2.8. So yeah, BMG is actually winning at this point. BMG has 10 first place votes and 11 second place votes, but Sync has 13 first place votes, 8 second place votes. The issue is
they have third place.
Yeah, and I think maybe some people misunderstood because they have 1 11th and 1 12th. So
well,
it's not that hard to understand, people. It's the first place team is
first
the best.
Off, it's top 10.
Yeah, the poll goes to 12 because I want to let people have. It's not right in because that would be impossible to deal with, but
interesting.
I want to give people a little bit more options, not just top 10. And I guess some people thought that the 12th was supposed to be the best team because I can't really imagine too many people putting Sync 12th. No. But I'm going to link it in chat as well, if you guys want to participate in the power rankings. So.
There you go. All right, let's go on to our next thing here. We're getting close to the end of the show, but before we do, I want to bring on a guest here, actually. So let me go ahead and drag him on the call. This is his name is Remarkable. That's what he's known by. Let's see if he answers here. And the reason I'm bringing him on is, as you see on screen, there is a tournament currently going on that started at the beginning of this month. A 1-versus-1 tournament that is currently going on. Anyone can sign up. You can check out this forum post in the competitive sections. But Remarkable happens to be the, well, you know what? I'll let him explain. Remarkable, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. How's it going?
I'm perfect. How are you guys?
Perfect, huh? I'm doing good. Everyone else doing good here? Still? We're good?
Yeah, doing great.
Okay, good. Remarkable. So we wanted to bring you on to kind of get your take on this tournament here. You know, some good insight, really, and what we should expect from it and what really the deal is. So first off, you want to introduce yourself and what the deal is with this Tarot 1v1 showdown here.
Oh, first of all, my nickname is Remarkable. My real name is Mark, as you might guess, with the capital M. And I host a website called battleofnewroad.org, and I've been hosting tournaments for a while for Han now. And half a year ago, I decided to make a website for it to make things easier and to archive them. And since then, I've been busy for a while because I moved recently to the UK.
All right.
So I had to put it on hold for a while, but I've been back now since November, trying to host a couple of tournaments. And the main thing I have is a 1v1 ladder. and all the tournaments go towards the ladder. And at the end of November, people can win cash prizes with it. I will put a link in the chat. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, or maybe I should actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might actually ban you. One sec.
Yeah. I'll put it on the Skype chat.
Yeah, here we go. I actually got a couple of links here. I assume it's gonna be the same one. So here, I'll put this one here. Yeah. That's the Battle of New Earth website that you're talking about, and here's the forum post even. So those are the two links, guys, so you can check out for yourself. So this Battle of New Earth. So this so the Battle of New Earth you're kind of explaining there. So this 1v1 tournament is just one of several events that you have done, or do you have multiple events going on right now, or is this the only one that you have going on right now?
Well, last Friday I hosted our Kane 1v1, and Terrorist will be next this Friday.
Okay.
So the 7th of November, and the planning is to host one every Friday until the end of November. So next week I will have a special occasion, and it's already planned, but will be announced soon. But for the last two, like the team, like which hero, for example, is still to be determined, and people can vote for that on the website. But ongoing at this, as we speak now, is the ladder, of course. You can not only get points through the tournaments, but you can play 24/7 against people. So people can go to the website right now, sign up for the ladder, and challenge people. Maybe it's an idea if you give a small demonstration on a website. That if you join the ladder and that I invite you for a challenge, people can see it.
I am not signed up right now. Would I have to do that? I assume I would have to sign up to do that.
That's correct.
All right, well, let me see if I can maybe do that right. So, I mean, first off, though, off the bat, I mean, this honestly reminds me a lot of, are you familiar with something called, like, OGL, by chance?
Not directly.
Okay, well, it's more of an old school, I'm an old guy, so, yeah, I come from ancient competitive gaming. But basically, back in the day, you know, for the original Counter-Strike, you know, Team Fortress Classic, things like that, there was a site called OGL where you pretty much, it was a 24/7 tournament, as you're kind of pointing out here, kind of a ladder system where you get to challenge players whenever you like, and you compete against one another, and depending on what ranking you are, what they are, and how the result went, you'll move up and down the ladder. Is that basically kind of the gist of it here, as far as how your ladder works?
Yeah, that's of course. Yeah, that is the same. It has an ELO rating, so people with higher points, if you challenge them, you get more points.
Okay.
So also kind of like MMR, how MMR works. So based on that as well, but it's kind of inflated with the tournaments. So people will get points even if they don't challenge people. Like at the moment, Yagami PL, who won the last tournament, is 90 points up front to the rest. But yeah, it's like a combination. Yeah, you challenge people, but you can also do it like old school on chat. Like the plan is that people spam the chat with challenges. I remember that also from old school, from Call of Duty mostly. That you spam like, I'm this ranking and I'm looking for an opponent, and the people can respond to you. Like, okay, I want to accept your challenge. Let's do this now.
All right. Okay, here's the thing. So I actually had an account. I didn't even realize that. I had created an account. So I just joined the ladder right here. So I'm in the ladder right now. Breaky CBK.
Okay. Then the first thing. Well, maybe it's an idea. You can see my name Remarkable there. I won my first match.
Oh, big deal over here. Okay. So do I click on your name and then challenge player? There we go.
It's kind of easy.
Oh wow! So you just like set a time and everything.
Yeah.
Huh. Very interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory. You just set a time, maybe the server preferred, and you just fill out this information. Challenge player, and there we go. So then, what would happen when I actually hit the challenge player after that? Then you would get a notification yourself, or?
Yeah, I think I just did. I think it's you. Yeah, Breaky challenged me. You normally like you put their standard things like your MMR. Normally it's like if you haven't chat with each other, then it's easy to say this is my MMR. Do you want to accept my challenge?
Okay.
And also what's important is that you can pick the game mode. It helps you to determine what kind of game you want to play. For example, now it's all pick. Then you just all pick. You probably pick like the OP 1v1 hero, but. Yeah, then it's like always Puppet Master against Succubus, for example. But you can also agree to each other. Let's both pick Devourer, for example, and then challenge them as a duplicate hero challenge.
Okay.
So that's like a thing you can do as well. Let me accept your challenge.
Uh-oh.
And normally now that we would go in game, just create a public match. And more importantly, it has to be stats enabled, so that the match ID gets saved and the GMs can look it up afterwards.
So it's manual reporting, obviously. So after the game, you would then report the match results.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with match ID as a proof. So let me just submit our score now. Let's say that's Breaky 1. And then in the match comment I put in match ID.
Yeah, I did. 1-0. There we go. I'm going to submit. I am the champ. Alright, so I submitted, so it takes so your opponent has to do it as well then, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did, because we did both at the same time, and if the score is the same, then you can now see at the letter.
Did you put 1-0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me check if it updates.
It better give me my win, damn it, I deserved it.
Yeah, matches, let me see. Awaiting opponent score confirmation.
Okay.
So you should have gotten a notification on top.
Nope, notifications, here we go. New score submitted by opponent. And I just hit submit. Error. Uh-oh. Oh no, that was for something else. No, that was for something. That was my bad.
Okay, good.
I think.
It would have been kind of
cool.
Awkward.
Okay, so that's the type stuff. No, what I'm typing stuff. So here is the challenge. Submit score now. Okay, there we go. Yeah, 1-0. I don't have to do that. Okay, so submit. There we go.
And yeah, you passed me on a letter. Now I'm back at 1,000 points in 1,008.
Yes.
This way you can get rating, and at the end of November you will get cash prize if you're in the top 3.
So can we just keep doing this over and over again? Just
You can challenge the same player over and over again, but you have to actually play it, because the GMs on the website.
Yeah.
If like somebody suddenly has 3,000 points by tomorrow by only playing against the same opponent, well, first of all, the other opponent will have like 0 points on the ELO rating.
Yeah.
So you have to create new accounts, but also you will check if the match IDs are real. So
So
make sure everything is fair.
The ELO rating, like, so that's basically, so say if I was to challenge the guy that was 1090, the guy on top right now, if I win that match or if I was to challenge the guy that's in last spot gold, like, would I get the same value for winning either one of those matches, or would I get a higher value for beating that guy that's in first?
You will get a bit different rating.
Okay.
For example, if you see on the top side, you see letter, and you can press ELO rating calculator.
The top side. Where on it?
Yeah, it's on the competition,
ELO
and below
rating.
that letter.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And you can see
Interesting.
if the person with 10,090 wins, it will be +5.
Huh.
Min 5, but if the player with a lower rating wins, for example, then he gets +10, -10.
Basically, you want to challenge people at around your rating, is what it looks like, to get the most maximum.
No, if
value.
you get more points if you challenge somebody that's higher, but he's obviously might be better.
Ah.
So you have to, have to be careful of that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
people can sign up right now as well for the tournament, for Tarot, the 1v1 Tarot tournament that starts this Friday.
Awesome.
And it is also a good way to be sure that people are online for the challenge.
Yeah.
And it's a fun tournament, because also sponsored by Ace Junior in this call, there will also be, besides the cash prize, each tournament will have also its individual prizes. In this case, tarot avatars are being given out, and gold coins as well. The first prize winner gets the tarot debut avatar and 300 gold coins. Place also get the debut avatar, and the third place gets Tish, the premium avatar for tarot. So that's a good reason to play alone, even if you can't play the entire ladder, no, you won't be first. It's still a good reason to sign up for the tournament alone.
Yeah. All right. No, that's sounds great, man. It's actually a really cool thing, and the fact that I was I'm a pretty dumb guy, and I was able to pick up on it pretty quickly, so I'm sure everyone out there can have an easy time picking that up as well. So, remarkable. I really do appreciate it. We want to keep the podcast moving along here, though. We're going to be wrapping up here soon, so appreciate coming on, though, and obviously I look forward to that. Anything else, any shout-outs you want to make or anything?
Well, also shout out to Quincy, because I forgot to mention one important thing, that he will be casting all the tournaments on Friday.
Nice.
Indeed.
Good stuff.
Shout out to Quincy.
Yeah, shout out to twitch.tv/Battle of Newarth, because that's where all the content is. So
Nice.
it's going to be every Friday at, now I forget what time, which is fantastic.
Friday sometime.
Yeah.
Just look for it.
I know, remarkable. What time is it on Friday? Because
It's
last time I was almost late.
Yeah, you also told me that the podcast would be 3 hours earlier than it is. Well, the time...
that's true, but it was supposed to be 3 hours earlier than it was, so...
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's
either way.
Not your fault. But the tournament will be at 8 p.m. Central European Time. On the website, you can find a link to see your actual time for your time zone.
All right. There you go. So, again, definitely check it out, guys. Battleofneworth.org is really the website that you're looking for there. And you can go from there. So not only this 1v1 ladder that's currently going on for the month, I definitely highly recommend checking it out, but many of tournaments to check out as well. So once again, remarkable. Appreciate it, man. And we'll look forward to seeing how this keeps going, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. There we go. All right, so remarkable joining us there again. That's kind of a nifty little thing. So it's one of those just things that it's just cool to be able to have it. 1v1's great in the sense that, again, you don't need a team as great as Heroes of Newerth is and this genre for being a team game and everything. The 1v1 aspect is also appealing because, yeah, you don't need to worry about other people's schedule other than ultimately your opponents, of course. And the fact that you can kind of just hop on and play a match, then pretty cool thing. I think I might just look to dominate that ladder there. I'm already moving up, so as long as you don't sign up, Super KG, I'll be good.
Yeah, let me see. I might do it, actually. It's like easy money.
Oh, dang, the challenge. The gauntlet has been thrown. All right. So, yeah, that was cool, though. The one last thing that we did want to talk about here before we officially really wrap things up here was, again, kind of an update here with Souls Theater that is currently going on. If you don't know what Souls Theater is by now, you know, you've probably haven't been paying a whole lot of attention.
You're missing out. Yeah, exactly.
But we're at a spot where we're getting very close here, Ace, and I think it's safe to say you're going to have plenty of information to give us here as far as where things are at. So what do we got?
I'm going to try and make it quick because we all got stuff to do. But let's see, Souls Theater. So, as you guys know, this was the open invitation. Come create a map, submit an idea. 8 of the top ideas that were the most fleshed out got chosen. Out of those 8, you guys voted on them, and we got the final 4 maps. Of those final 4, you'll see on the screen we have Kawaii. He submitted the map Greenlands, which is a capture the flag, a 5v5 capture the flag on a new map. It's kind of cool. Then we also have Dungeon Chasers by Voodoo Pants, and that is a 5v1 dungeon delving RPG D&D-esque kind of game. Looks really cool. Then we've got Newerth Defense by Hypercool right there, or Hyperzool. Newerth Defense is very similar to Legion TD from Warcraft 3, which is one of my favorite games. And it's pretty much a tower defense. You build some units. They're your army. You take on a wave. Then your army, once you beat the wave, your army respawns, and you can add new units to it. It's pretty fun. Last but not least, we have Castle Fight by Ranadil and Sir Wayne, and that one is similar to Castle Fight from Warcraft 3, which is another pretty solid game that I used to play and enjoy. So those are the 4 maps. These guys have been working really, really hard after they got chosen. They've been trying to get their maps fully fleshed out, and the due date for those maps is coming up. We will announce the winners, or the rankings, who got first, second, third, and fourth. First place gets $3,500. Second place gets $2,500. Third place gets $1,500, and fourth place still gets $500 for their work. After that, so we're gonna see they're getting into SBT right now. We have 2 maps in SBT right now. We're trying to get the other 2 in as soon as possible. There's obviously some, with Dungeon Chasers, there's a little bit more, I guess, work to go on because it's not the same, 5v5 format. It's a 1v5 kind of thing. So with that aside, once we choose the winners or we choose, the rankings, we'll announce it to you guys. It'll be awesome. But then once we get our winner, we're going to take that map, kind of do our own little upgrades to it. We're going to polish it up. We're going to keep the essence of the map, obviously the same play style, but we're going to make sure the map's textures are awesome, add the effects that need to be added, make sure the map looks cool and polished for you guys, and then we'll be putting it into a TMM. There's no for sure date yet. There's no okay, well, a month after we decide when we're going to put it in, because we don't know how much work needs to go into it, but we know once it's ready, it'll go in. So we'll update you guys with kind of a progress bar on the theater website. And other than that, that's the quick rundown of it. Guys, I'm looking at these maps, and they are freaking awesome. I mean, I love these little games. This is what I like to do with my friends when, we land. You get milk fat. Breakies come over to our house a few times. You land. You play some, you play some Warlocks. You play some Prophets. You play some Castle Fights.
It's where our game came from. I mean,
I'm just, bringing it back to the roots, Gotta dig deep. But on that note, it should be awesome. I mean, we're going to do some stuff in the near future to get you guys back hyped on it. And other than that, enjoy. I mean, we're just trying to bring you guys the whole Encompass Ton experience. Make sure you guys love the game that we make, and make sure we'll keep loving to make it. So
that is for sure. Well said. Well said. Yeah, no doubt. Looking forward to that, and especially seeing the eventual winner and which of these is going to win. So now that he's kind of gone the overview here, again, we're at the top four. I'm going to go around. What do you guys think? Which would you like to see as far as of these four maps ultimately be implemented, at least initially, and be ready to play? So Quincy, looking at these four, which one stands out to you?
Well, that's not an easy choice. I did look at the videos for all of them before this, did a little research, and they're all very impressive. I have to go with New Earth Defense just because TD is my jam. I played a crap ton of Gem TD back in Warcraft 3 days. I played Element TD. I beat every single freaking level in those maps, and it was really, really a terrible waste of time, but I had a lot of fun doing it, so it's all fine. I gotta go with that. I love tower defense.
All right, that's a good choice there. Super KG, what would you say?
First question is: there's only gonna be one winner, right? So there's only gonna be released one map, or are all the four maps gonna be released?
Only the first map is the guaranteed one that's gonna go in. The other ones, if in due time, we want to work on them after the first one, then we can. And if there's enough, if the community's oh, we really want this one in too, then who knows? Maybe we'll throw it in. We like to make you guys happy. It's one of the things we like to do. So, it
you
depends.
can make me happy in many ways.
I'll
Second
try.
awkward moment we've had on the cast. All right.
All right.
Second,
well,
great.
I feel like Dungeon Chasers is the one that I want us play. I've never really been into TDs and stuff like that. I hate those things. But every time I end up going with my friends and everything, they're "Oh, play TD." I'm fuck that shit, yo.
All right.
So,
I hope New Earth Defense does not get chosen for your sake.
Yeah, please don't get that, because then I'm not playing it.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, I'm more of the RPG type of guy, playing, farming, and doing my own thing pretty much. So.
Yeah. The video was really done. Well done.
I mean, yeah, that map looks really cool too.
It does look really cool. Ace,
Thank
you got a favorite?
Yeah. Again, I liked all these.
The cop.
Hey, baby, let me just. I'm precursoring this, all right? So give it a sec. But it's got to be New Earth Defense, man. I played the countless hours of Legion TD. Me and my buddies did too. It's just day in and day out. That is a game that's got tons of replayability. If they do it right, which I think they are going to, because they're two great map designers and coders. Quick shout out to Kawaii and Hyperzul. Yeah. They helped out a lot on the Prophets map, by the way. So if you guys didn't know that, they were the original creators of the Prophets map with Jonathan, and they just are awesome guys, dedicated, really want the stuff to work out, not only work well, but they want it to be just a great map in general. So I know that they've got the heart and soul behind it, and then also the talent, and that map is one of my favorite maps that was ever in Warcraft 3. So that's my vote.
All right, so I got some good diversity here, and I'm going to keep that going, actually. My vote from even in the previous round, I voted for this one, the Greenlands, made by Kawhi. Speaking of him, the Greenlands map, the reason why it's so appealing to me is I come from playing a lot of World of Warcraft. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a mixture. To me, it really seems like it's going to be a mixture of kind of like a Warsong Gulch, Wrathy Basin kind of deal. And I've thought that style of play in Heroes of New Earth would actually be pretty damn cool to be able to work with. Now, the one big, it's going to be curious as far as balancing goes with this mode specifically. That's where this mode is going to have the most trouble of all them as far as the other maps, is where it's like, because the balance could actually play a big role in terms of how it plays out at the same time. So I think that would be the only worrisome thing, but at the same time, I love the idea of it. I like where it's going. I come from that background even, so I like the Greenlands. That's probably which one I'll vote for when we get the chance. So
cool.
Do we know when voting is going to be open?
It's actually, this last section is not like a voting thing open to the community. We've got these guys making their maps. They are going to be in SBT, and then judging from, we let you guys decide the top 4, and then from those 4, we want to see, again, how feasible it is to get it in the game, how much work's going to go, because if we choose one, but then we assume it's going to take 6 months to the game, I don't know if you guys want that or if we want that, because that'll just be, I don't know, too long. So, again, we're going to choose the top map, and we'll see. I mean, obviously, if you guys make your voices loud enough, it never hurts.
It doesn't hurt. All right. On that note, I think we're getting to the end of the show here. So about an hour and a half podcast, and I think that's a good time to really start wrapping things up here. So a good way to finish talking about Soul Sitter. Again, check it out, guys. Get hyped about those, and knowing that one of those is going to be entering the newer scene in the near future. So can't wait for that. Can't wait for those good times. So. Cycle 5 starts this weekend, guys. That's something that is going to be immediate and is going to be happening here very, very shortly, that we can guarantee. So this weekend, guys, Cycle 5 kicks off 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time. Again, great match is going to be coming at you. You do not want to miss that. Going to be a lot of fun. And tune into Honcast as well as the community casters. I'm sure going to be around covering other matches that we are not able to. So, all right, doing the part now. We're going to go around here. We'll start with you, Quincy. Any shout-outs, anything you want to say here before we wrap up?
Absolutely. I have a list. I'm going to make sure I have to catch everybody. First off, Shortcan, Board Beater, and ALG. They've been stepping up a lot for me this week with casting, so it's nice. I appreciate that. They've taken a lot of time out of their day, and it's not necessary, so it's good to highlight them. Lash, it's his birthday, so shout out to Lash. Beaverbanger requested one, so here you go, you greedy bastard. And Cluckmuck is feeling very sad about all the things I said about Trekislav. So I love you, Cluckmuck. Please don't leave me. And I didn't mean any of it, except maybe I did a little bit.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
It does. Well, I got to be as honest as I can. So
yeah,
I'm prepared to be wrong, but if you want me to be wrong, then go prove me wrong. Go win some stuff.
Do it.
Fruit and Radar, a couple buddies, and of course Los Gigantes de San Francisco.
Dang, Giants, my boys.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
This is actually an old shirt from last time they won the World Series.
2012?
Yeah, again, you might get confused because they also won it in 2010, so last time may not... the point is, they've won 3 championships in 5 years.
If only baseball was a sport that actually mattered, then that would
well, it matters to a lot of people, like millions and millions and millions of people. So
it's only America's pastime.
Just saying.
Sorry if you're not American then.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in America's future. NFL, baby.
Right, and the NFL, honestly, you got maybe 20 years left. Something like that. I'm not even kidding.
Dang,
I'm not even kidding.
On that. Super KG, what do you got?
My team, my hookers, and you guys.
I love it. I just love the difference right there. Quincy's got this list, going, and Super KG just busted out to the point. All right. Ace Jr., what about you?
Well, real quick, shout outs to the community events team. Those guys are my homies. Shout outs to the Big Boy crew, which includes, Milk Fat, Pan Man, Mad Fred. You got little C-Mac, Diva, Muffins, the whole crew, then everybody at work. Shout out to all those people in chat. Shout out to pretty much everyone. And that's about it. I don't know. I was thinking because you guys really wanted it. Actually, I'm going to tease something for you guys, all right? So this isn't a tease or this isn't a leak. This is something that I've been working on with Milk Fat, and you'll see it in the near future, okay? But for now, just know it's in the process. All right, I'm only going to do about 4 bars from it, but you'll enjoy it. It's a new Han song. All right. Maybe you can guess what the background is, but it starts out like this. All right. So I'm mid so hard, newbies want to gank me, but you can never outplay me. What's 2 HP to a pro like me? Moon, please remind me. Starts off like that, but just teasing into it.
See, I want more now. I want more. I thought
I know you want more. I mean, okay, how much you want? I mean, we'll go a little bit more. All right. So I'm mid so hard, newbies want to gank me, but you can never outplay me. What's 2 HP to a pro like me? Moon, please remind me. Mid so hard, man, I'm scary. Bloodlust like I'm popping cherries. Side lanes could go 0 for 22 when I type in chat. I got this carry. Mid so hard, this bitch feared. He ain't even supposed to be here. Mid so hard since he here, it's only right that he be scared. Trying, I'm buying to go Lions. Who you bring? Swindle, Super, Axley, M King? I'll roll with that. Actually, mid so hard got this on lock. Wing bow and a big mock. Enemies try to shit talk, and all they do is get rocked. And I'll keep it at that, though.
Okay.
Can't give it all away.
Super getting a shout out there, I heard.
Well, yeah. I always shout out to Super.
The love. All right. That's going to be some fun times. So you're teasing us now. Now you better.
That's a tease.
That has to come through now. You realize that, right?
I mean, it's already, it's in the process.
Okay.
I wouldn't have teased it if it wasn't coming through.
I'm going to put that on 10 hours repeat.
Hell yeah.
Next time you stream, just that's your background right there. Might get the VOD muted, though, so careful. All right.
True.
That's gonna do it. What a great way to end it there. As far as for me, as usual, shout out to you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Fiance CPK and shout out to all the teams this weekend. That's gonna be going at us as far as Cycle 5 is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're officially wrapping up here with the Honcast Podcast. Cycle 5 gonna be coming at you 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time. Check it out. Until then, have a good night.
We are truly free.